Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from Benab House, Atomic Junction, Medina. I'm Khadija Tukubra Kailani. Coming up this afternoon, Finance Minister says over 80 million Ghana cedis was collected in betting, dismissing claims by Mohammed Amin Adams that the previous administration never implemented the tax. Also on the international front, Mozambique main opposition figure question over post-poll demonstration. Do stay with us for details of the stories. Thank you for staying with us. Remember, the news is also live on Facebook and YouTube at Baina TV. Now to our first story. Finance Minister Dr. Kisel Atuforsen on Tuesday, March 11, 2025, disclosed that an amount of 200 million Ghana cedis has been set aside to assist victims of the recent tidal wave disaster in Ketu South. Dr. Kisel Atuforsen made the disclosure during the presentation of the 2025 budget statement in Parliament.
Again, an amount of 242.5 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of Akosombo Dam spillage. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 200 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of tidal wave disaster that recently displaced residents in certain parts of Ketu South constituency.
The Salokope and Amutinu communities were affected by tidal waves which destroyed homes, farmlands and displaced hundreds of families. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Atuforsen says the claim by former Finance Minister Mohammed Amin Adams that the erstwhile administration never implemented the betting tax is not factual. Speaking at a news conference on Tuesday, March 11, shortly after the Finance Minister presented the new government first budget statement and abolished the e-levy betting tax, among others, the former Finance Minister said the MPP government never enforced the controversial tax on lottery and sports betting winnings. Dr. Amin Adam said it was deceptive for the NDC government to claim to abolish a tax that was never collected, although the law was passed in 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, betting tax that they said they have abolished. We never collected betting tax. We never implement the betting tax. So to come and tell Ghanaians that you have abolished something that was not implemented is to deceive the people of Ghana.
Interview with the media, the Finance Minister said his colleague on the other side appeared not to be on top of the issue. According to him, the fact on the ground does not support the former Finance Minister's assertion, adding that the betting tax was implemented and the government of Ghana collected over 80 million cedis. The betting tax introduced under the previous government imposed a 10% withholding tax on winnings from sports betting and lottery. While it faced heavy backlash from industry players and the public, Dr. Amin Adam maintains that his administration did not implement the policy before leaving office. Away from that, the management of Ghana Water Limited Ashanti region has announced a scheduled shutdown of the Brekese water treatment plant. The shutdown is set to take place from Monday, March 17 to Wednesday, March 19, 2025.
This temporary halt in operations is necessary to facilitate the installation of new interconnection pipelines and foot valves at the Suame Runabout, which is expected to enhance the metropolis water supply. GWL in a statement acknowledged the inconvenience this may cause to the affected communities, which include Ofenso, the entire Kumasi metropolis and its environs. However, the management has assured the public that their dedicated teams of engineers will work diligently within the estimated time frame to restore water supply. The move, according to GWL, is in line with the company's commitment to enhance the water supply capacity from the Barekesi water treatment plant to improve water service delivery and address the supply challenges in the metropolis. Ghana Water Limited has urged all service providers, particularly hospitals and schools in the area, to ensure they have adequate storage for the duration of the shutdown. The management of GWL expressed deep regret for the inconvenience caused, but pleaded with consumers to bear with the situation, emphasizing that the project aims to improve the overall water services provided to the public.
And now in business, the State Interest and Governance Authority is set to host a pivotal engagement between President John Dramani Mahama and the Chief Executive Officers of state-owned enterprises and other key state entities. The high-level meeting, scheduled for March 13, 2025, will take place at the prestigious Himpiski Hotel in Accra.
The meeting promises to be a historic moment in Ghana's governance landscape, as President Mahama is expected to share his vision for resetting and realigning SOEs to ensure they operate with greater efficiency and effectiveness. This initiative is part of broader efforts to enhance the role of SOEs in driving Ghana's economic growth. The event will bring together senior government officials, ministers of state, and representatives from the World Bank in Ghana, signaling the critical importance of collaboration among government, international organizations, and state-run enterprises to advance national development. A key highlight of the gathering will be the launch of a comprehensive study on 16 SOEs, which manage a substantial portfolio of state assets. This deep dive study, conducted by SIGA, aims to evaluate the current state of SOEs, identify the areas for reform, and propose actionable strategies for their transformation. According to SIGA, the findings of the study will be vital in shaping the government's policy direction, ensuring that SOEs function in a manner that is transparent, accountable, and aligned with the country's development objectives. The engagement is expected to foster productive discussions, stimulate cooperation, and pave the way for a new era of collaboration between the government, SOEs, and other stakeholders. SIGA encourages all Ghanaians to take an active interest in this groundbreaking initiative and follow the proceedings of the meeting. This development signals a crucial move towards enhancing the efficiency and governance of SOEs, a sector central to Ghana's economic growth and national development.
Still on business, the increasing presence of foreign competitors in Ghana's construction industry has sparked concerns among industry stakeholders who fear that local businesses may be overshadowed. As a result, there are growing calls for stricter enforcement of government regulations to protect local players.
Section 5(1) of the Architects Act 1969, NLCD 357, mandates the Council to uphold the highest standards in the architecture profession and safeguard the integrity of the industry. Speaking at the Ghana Institution of Surveyors Annual General Meeting in Accra, Charles Emisa Kumson, Managing Architect at Multi-Build Consult Limited, emphasized the need to protect the interests of local businesses. He said the construction industry industry in Ghana is witnessing an influx of foreign professionals, a situation beyond the Ghana Institution of Surveyors control. He said even though the situation brings healthy competition to the market, the Ghana Institution of Surveyors must tighten its regulatory frameworks to ensure that foreign professionals possess the necessary qualifications to practice in the country. He also underscored the need to strengthen the capacity of local professionals and explore opportunities to export their expertise to other markets.
And now on the international front, Mozambique's main opposition leader, Venancio Mondlane, said he was questioned for 10 hours by prosecutors on Tuesday. He said that while he answered a slew of questions about the demonstration that followed last October's election, he was never told what accusation lay behind the interrogation. Mondlane, who claimed victory in the contested poll, added that he had been placed under judicial supervision.
Observer missions said the vote was tainted by irregularities. It was followed by more than 2 months of demonstrations and blockades, during which more than 300 people died. Mondlane has been named in 8 cases opened by the Public Prosecutor's Office that are linked to the protests. Most of them are associated with the destruction of public property, but Mondlane has also been accused of subversion and disturbance of public order. His supporters massed outside the building where he was being questioned, but it is being reported that police dispersed them with tear gas.
Away from Mozambique, 6 weeks after Rwanda-backed rebels captured 2 major cities in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, the region is facing a setback in its fight against the monkeypox outbreak. The DRC has the highest burden of the virus, with the epicenter in the east.
The African Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that as fighting with the M23 escalates, more than 600 Mpox patients fled different hospitals. It said the country saw a 31% increase in cases last week, bringing the total to close to 16,255. Many patients can't be found. Recently arrived vaccines are running short as supplies can't reach combat zones, and hospitals have been under attack. Tracing patients to prevent spread of Mpox has become more difficult, and health workers are running out of options on how to make the best of remaining medical supplies. The authorities have reportedly started negotiations for a suspension of hostilities to allow for a humanitarian corridor to bring essential medical supplies into the conflict zone. Last month, the World Health Organization warned that the Clade 1b strain of the virus is continuing to spread globally. Mpox can be passed on by close contact with anyone with the infection and causes fever, muscle aches, and ball-like skin lesions. It is usually mild but can be fatal. The country, meanwhile,
Executive Committee, his 4-year tenure was planned from 2025 to 2029.
Elected unopposed, Okoreku now joins the 24-member Committee of Africa's football governing body, a milestone that underscores his growing influence in sport. His appointment to the CAF Executive Committee is a recognition of his leadership at the GFA, where he has spearheaded efforts to revitalize Ghanaian football since assuming office in 2019. Under his tenure, he has championed transparency, grassroots development, women's football, and youth programs initiatives